U.S. mortgage lender UWM plans to accept Bitcoin payments. They're one of the largest mortgage brokers in the world, as I understand it. And yeah, they're looking at accepting Bitcoin for payments, according to the Detroit Free Press. So pretty big story in terms of Bitcoin adoption. And this kind of makes sense that you'd be able to pay for something larger like a mortgage in something like Bitcoin, which a little bit bigger market cap than something like Dogecoin. So interesting to see that happen. But Naomi, you're pretty hype on the story, so I want to throw it to you.
I am pretty hyped. I think this is awesome. And also because mortgages really, that's a big area where people want to spend their crypto. You know, a lot of friends, they're kind of cashing out crypto because they want to buy a house. And it's kind of this cumbersome process where they have to prove that they have funds. It's how do you prove it? Well, you've got to like sign a key, sign a message with your private key. And there's kind of, it's like this difficult area that we're still trying to navigate. Now we've had, crypto collateralized loans for mortgages for a long time in the crypto space. But this is kind of the next step, is these mortgage companies actually accepting things like Bitcoin right off the bat. And generally, I would not say that Bitcoin is useful for payments, but in this situation, it absolutely is. When you're dealing with large amounts for houses, this is precisely the kind of use case that I think Bitcoin is good for in terms of payments. So I think this is really exciting. I think that I'd be interested to see how much use this gets from crypto people who otherwise might be, going out some sort of roundabout route in order to get a mortgage. A lot of people, paying it just outright in cash because they can't get a mortgage and they're just cashing in all their crypto in order to do that. And so this kind of alleviates a lot of that pressure on them to get out of their crypto, which is kind of cool. But Jen, I'll throw it to you. What are your thoughts on this step?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. And to your point, Naomi, I also have a lot of friends who face that dilemma when they go to buy a house. It's like, do I cash out my crypto? How do I prove that I have this money? There's this big conundrum for people who operate in the crypto space. So it's exciting, but I immediately think about the tax implications and the regulatory implications. If people start doing this, I think that regulators are going to come over and start looking at this, and I just don't know how the IRS is going to think about it. But Naomi, maybe you have more thoughts. I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, people have started to talk about this. It's fascinating to me, as if they're holding crypto and never, ever going to touch it. So like, what's it good for? What's it good for if it's just sitting there and you're never going to touch it? Of course, you're eventually going to spend this money. Well, people hold this because they're like, well, one day there's a rainy day, right? One day we might have economic collapse, or I might need this funds. And a lot of people don't realize that maybe that day is here. Maybe that day when we have all of our funds monitored, when it's completely controlled, when you have to ask permission to get your own money, when all of the savings you have in fiat are being inflated away, maybe today is the day when you can start using that crypto. So yes, people are going to use this, but also keep in mind that, these people bought into crypto at a lower price, presumably, and they're only paying capital gains on the increase. So they're still, making a lot of money on their increase. I don't think that taxes are a big, it's not a showstopper for people sending crypto. And if they're selling at a loss, great. That's they can actually deduct that from their taxes. I think people use taxes as this boogeyman that they talk about. It's really not a showstopper from my experience.